Okay, so remember how last week I had to cut the episode short because we gabbed too much about Eat Beast from the East?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do. And then we were like talking about your next competition.
I know, and I never put it in the show.
Well, do you remember what your thoughts and feelings?
When was that? That was like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Woo! No, I don't remember. Like, say, I can't remember what I had for lunch.
I actually think that we have it recorded though.
I think we might. So let me dig through the archives and see what we can find.
Yeah, so the events for this next show are pretty exciting. So they are a farmer's carry into Husefeld. So it's a very interesting one. This is Andrew came up with this one time when he was alone. He's never allowed to be alone training again. So it's picking up the farmers, walking, dropping them, picking up the Husefeld, walking back and down and back, dropping the Husefeld, and then picking up the farmers again. So it's going to be a rough one. And then the second one is a 5 keg press. So starting for mine is starting at 70, going up to 175. And then we have the car deadlift, which I'm very excited for reps. It is a little bit lighter, so that's it's going to be more of a cardio event because of how light it is, but that's all right. And then we are going to be having the mystery event that just got announced, which is a rolling thunder. So that is it is probably about this thick. It's a handle. You have to pick up the weight and drop it type thing. So basically you pick it up, lock it out, and drop it down. So I did some training with that last night. I got up to 110. So that one's going to be an interesting one. Like that's just grip, straight up grip.
Interesting.
And then the last event is sandbag over yoke.
Oh, the fucking sandbags come back.
Double sandbag, and they're in everything. That's the one I know I need to get better at because they are in everything.
Yeah. And then like the over bar, sandbag over bar, I find is always rough because of like depending on how tall the bar is and how short you are, it makes a huge difference. So people who are tall have an advantage because they can just toss it over versus like I remember when it was Nikki, Allison, and I doing the sandbag over bar, and like Nikki got it over no problem, Allison got it over no problem, and then me and I think it was Christine, we had some troubles because we're shorter. So it's just like an add-on to trying to throw it over the bar.
So yeah, I'm excited for this event. I don't really have two. I think it's just I think there's 3 people in my category, maybe 2. I'm not 100% sure. But it'll be a really fun show. Like it's down by the water. We're hoping to get a good crowd. Like it's gonna be kind of we did it like right down by Peaks Key, down by the wharf. Like it's right in the center. So it's gonna be hopefully get a lot of foot traffic, people just being like, "Yo, what's this?" So
yeah,
hopefully we're gonna see have some friends and family stop by and take a good hangout.
And are you going to be doing anything this week to kind of like prep yourself for those events? You just mentioned that you tried the Thunder for the first time, so
Yeah, so I have 2 more training sessions between now and the weekend. So I wanted to practice the Husefeld one more time. And then just do some more light stuff, just like so one of the things, like I did the farmer's carry, but I was very much like farmers is where you hold it and you just go. I wasn't very balanced. I was very much just it wasn't a smooth walk. It was very much they were going up and down. So I need to work on that. So basically with that's a technique thing. So I'm going to keep it nice and light and just work on keeping them steady while walking with the weight with the implements, because they're actually a new set of farmers that we've just had made. They're really nice, but they're very different. I don't know if I like them yet.
okay.
Because like they got a bit of a lip and they hit my leg, so I told them I need pool noodles on the sides so I don't. So I'm gonna be working on that, just but not working. Once again, you're not gonna get any stronger at this point. It's really just working on technique. So like so Sunday I will probably be doing the farmers, some sandbags and some light kegs, just working on technique, working on movements, but nothing heavy. And then I know Tuesday I talked with Christine. She wants to do the Husafeld, so I'm gonna wait and do that on Tuesday with her.
Mhm.
And yeah, once again, nothing heavy. I might just work on like picking up the 100 because it's 175 pounds. I feel comfortable doing that, but just working on picking it up and then putting it back down and going from there.
Yeah, kind of working more on the consistency and accuracy more than like achieving a higher weight, because at this point now it's a week, like you said, like there's not a whole lot of room for improvement on like increase of weight, but there's definitely a whole lot of room for improvement with accuracy and getting your grip strength.
Yeah. So for me, like this week, it's really going to be focusing on really like eating well, hydrating, getting good sleep, and yeah, it's really the plan.
Yeah,
Welcome, my strong girlies, and welcome to the Strong Girl Shuffle Podcast.
strong girl, strong girl, strong girl shuffle. Yeah. Now in a new setting for the tried and true fans of Strong Girl Shuffle, you guys probably remember this set a little bit. It's classic. It's where we started.
We did start here.
Episode
We started out there.
Episode 1.
But yes, we started here.
That was preseason. This is season
Oh,
1.
that's right. I'm thinking preseason. Have to wait for that one.
Now we're seasoned.
Seasons, yeah.
We're well seasoned.
This is episode 16.
Isn't that?
Oh my god.
It doesn't feel that long, but you know what? Like, yeah.
And we were like debating if 20 was too long. And now we're like stretching it out because like we got to make it to at least nationals for strongest
To
woman.
do a podcast on that. It's gonna be.
Oh, it's gonna be like we can't not. Like I'm like screw the tarot, screw the gold, strong man.
But I am super excited. But we're in this episode today, and today we're actually going to be talking about Allie's second competition for the summer, which was PEI Summertime Showdown here in Charlottetown.
Mm-hmm. Hosted by Island Strength and Power. Love those guys.
We love those boys. They support our girls and they support the community of strongman here on the island. So shout out to them. They provide the equipment. They help with the collaborations, the organization of the competition.
It takes a lot of work. Like I've never run a strongman show, but I've run many events.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of work leading up to them, making sure you have the volunteers, there's having the correct weights. Like it's all based on like provincials, the lead up for nationals. There's certain numbers they gotta do, and they gotta make sure they have the people, the resources, logging the stuff there. I must say, I think the volunteers work harder than the athletes because they are moving this stuff. We move it once for a minute. They're moving it multiple times for like 23 athletes. What we had.
Yeah. Especially this event is held outside.
Mm-hmm. It was hot, but it was gorgeous.
It's humid. Yeah.
It actually wasn't too humid.
Oh, you had the breeze.
We had the
from that
breeze,
water,
yeah.
So you were actually at the Confederation. The Confederation Landing is what it's called.
Yes.
It's a cute little field next to Peaks Key.
All right. So yes, this location was down on the Confederation Landing. It was a beautiful spot. It was a gorgeous day, and it was so nice because there was cruise ships in, so there was a lot of people walking around. And actually, one of the events, which we'll get into, we actually had to move the judges and the timers because there was a big crowd behind us at the time, and they were like, and they kind of looked, were like, oh, and so they all shifted to the other side to make so everyone could see better. But they didn't realize it because we weren't expecting it. But it was a really cool event, which we will go over in a few minutes. But first, we gotta start with goals, Tara. You know which one it is.
We definitely got to get into our goals.
Oh,
We gotta start it up right. So, Allie, you've actually mentioned to me before we started recording that you want to do some new goals.
yes. So me and my Allison, my roommate, we were chit chatting. She was going over some of her goals. I'm like, I think I need to revamp my goals. So they're similar. They're not that drastic of a difference, but they're enough for me to be like, yo, specific, smart, measurable, achievable, realistic, timely. So that's my new goals.
Good.
So my first goal is I'm starting April. Where the fuck that come from?
We're gonna wait a whole year before we start these bad boys.
Yeah, August 1st, which is tomorrow. I'm gonna be tracking everything I eat on my app for a whole month.
Ooh, what app?
My Fitness Pal.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I've used it a few times, and I like that I can like. So when I do a big meal prep, I am able to put in like everything that I'm putting into my meal, and then I divide it afterwards. So if like I just put in 100 grams of hamburger as an example,
Yeah.
a can of chickpeas, and then when I make, because I usually do like a stir fry type thing,
Yeah.
and then I put it all in, and then I'm like, okay, this makes 4 meals for me, and then it does the math for me. So it's
Oh,
not like,
nice.
oh, I had a quarter of a cup of beans in this, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not counting the calories it's doing for you.
Yeah, and then that way I can put it right in, and I can save it into like my meal, so I can quickly just whoop, whoop.
Like that's the worst thing because my partner, he does that. Like he loves math. He's going in for accounting, so like he calculates everything that he eats. So he'll look at the nutritional value on the back, and he'll actually like do the full calculations of everything that he put into it, divided it for the amount of measurements that he did.
Too much work.
It's
So my goal is to just track. Don't worry about like, and making sure to get enough protein.
Good.
So like I have a goal for I don't have a specific number for protein, but at least 100 grams.
Okay.
And I know that's going to be quite easy for me to attain. Especially like with protein shakes and protein bars, like
on a daily basis or on a weekly basis?
daily.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. Like 100 grams is not a lot, but on a daily basis, yeah, I agree.
And so get back to my Tuesday and Thursday workouts. Just because my work schedule has changed and now I'm able to do them, I just haven't done them yet.
Well, that starts August 1st.
That's tomorrow.
Thursday.
I know.
Hey, we're gonna hold her accountable, folks. Make sure you send some messages, some comments to @Allie_strongwoman.
Yep. Yeah.
Make sure that she went to the store. You also had a reading goal. How's that going?
That's going great. I think I'm on my 7th book.
Dang.
But the thing is, I realize like I read a lot for my work. Like I am reading like, and they're like classics, like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Stuart Little, Charlotte's Web.
There was one.
Oh, and less screen time.
Okay, that's hard.
Yeah, because like I say, I'm deep into my Stardew, and so I've been next thing you know, 3 hours have gone by.
Yeah.
And then I still scroll on TikTok.
Yeah.
So there's like 5 hours of my day. So I want to cut back on my screen time. I want to limit it to like I don't count TV as screen. I'm thinking more portable screen.
Yeah.
Like
you're directing your attention to something that's not productive.
TV's
Now, like,
not productive.
TV's not productive, but TV in our generation is considered to be rest.
Oh.
So there's been studies showed, and we can get into that like a whole nother section, because like when you're talking about Stardew, you are actively productive in that moment because you are working towards something. You're still relaxing, but you're like directed. You're
yes, I'm down in those mines. I'm getting those.
You're fishing.
I fucking hate fishing.
I love.
I cannot fish. I've got to catch a fish.
Dude.
I'm on year 2, and I've not caught a fish. The only fish I caught, Allison caught.
When I played Stardew Valley, that was all I would do. So my partner would do the mines, and I would.
love the mines.
I hate the mines because the slime boys, and then I run out of energy and I die. And then $200 later for a bill, and I'm like, damn, there goes my chicken coop.
Right. So less screen time, tracking my meals, and going back to my Tuesday, Thursday work.
Nice. And then also reading is going to be joined in to.
So those are the year goals. So that's a year goal I have, to read 12 books in a month, and 12
books in a year.
12 books in a year. So that's my year goal, but this is a specific month goal.
Okay, and what about hydration? Are we still including that into your monthly goals?
That right now, like it's still something important, but
something to like consider, but not like an achievable goal.
So like the main things that I'm focused on, and I count water in with tracking food too.
Okay, that's where I was wondering where that stood. Yeah,
so it's still there, but like which is like say they're not that drastic of what I'm doing. I'm just getting back into them.
Yeah.
Like say the food tracking, that's really the new one. Less screen time was something I tried to do, didn't work out, but we're gonna get back to it.
Making your goals more manageable and achievable
in a small
by like condensing it down and being like, this is what I'm doing this week. This is what I'm doing next week. I think that's really good, because we were talking a while ago about how you wanted to like switch things up. You felt like your goals were all the same, but they're slightly different. I think this is really good to like word it differently and kind of direct your attention towards something very specific, like the protein. I think that's fantastic, considering A, you're a woman and we need it, and B, you're a human, we need it, and then C, you're doing strength training and your muscles need it. So like that's awesome. Yeah, I think that's really great.
Yes. What about you and your goals? Are you sticking with the same ones, or are you gonna be revamping? I kind of sprung this on you. So I
No,
thought about this the
okay.
day before. So
So with my goals, as of right now, I'm just kind of focusing on maintaining the ones that I've already set for myself. So that way I'm not setting myself up for failure because I know that if I add more to my plate right now, I'm just not going to achieve it. So the main thing that I had set up was hydration, eating healthy, exercising, and doing my writing. So right now, kind of similar to you, I'll stick with the writing because that's my pain point for this podcast. I have not been writing for myself. I've been doing a lot of journaling because I need to do some self-reflection on how I've been feeling lately. I mentioned in I think our 1 year anniversary episode that I started medication. I recently changed my dosage in that medication, and I've noticed a lot of difficult challenges that I'm working through and using the tools and techniques that my therapist had given me in the past to help regulate that. But I always keep track in the journal, so that way I'm not like tearing myself down every day. I can look back at my journal and being like, huh, I had a really bad day this day. And I'm looking back at it. It's not that bad.
yeah.
I had a really rough go. This is how I handled it. And this is where I'm at now.
Yeah.
So, definitely been doing a lot of self-reflection writing. And I've also been doing a lot of writing for work. So I do research, social media, communications within my within the business / company that I work for, but also with external links to try to connect our companies together for collaborations.
There's a lot of crossover.
It's a lot of crossover, a lot of emails, a lot of scripts, a lot of prompts for potential post opportunities. So I am still doing a lot of writing, just not anything that's going to be in a book.
Yeah.
So that's
How's your steps? That was another one.
Oh yeah, my steps are going really, really good. So this week, beautiful weather.
Yeah.
Put on my running shoes, went for a run. Also been helping with the mental health aspect of things. So whenever I have a bad day, just like getting up, going outside, and just letting some sun hit me.
Yeah.
And I mentioned this a few times. Like I have a nice track and field in my backyard, so I just go there. I go for a little run, go next to the water, sit down. It's been going really well.
Good. Glad to hear that.
Yeah, it's been pretty productive, especially after like the gloomy 2 weeks we had prior. It's kind of nice to take advantage of the summer weather that we've been having. And
well, don't look at this weekend's forecast.
I know. So yeah, the steps have been going really great. Writing not so much, but we are still doing writing. We're just not actively writing towards our goal for novel. And then when it comes to eating healthy, that's another pain point that I had, where I've been really proactive in my workspace, and the new medication's been causing a little bit of digestive troubles. I have not been eating appropriately. I will admit it. This week's been a little bit of a flop for that. I've been going out for takeout, and then of course, like I have friends and family coming through too. So like, what do? I'm not going to cook for you. I'm not going to wash your dishes. Just let's head over to Casanomia and have some breakfast or something like that. So I've definitely been eating like trash, but I've been compensating by reducing my snack intake, drinking a lot more water, and that ties into the hydration. So I've been drinking probably 8 glasses a day, and if not more, probably more, honestly, because it's so blessed hot.
Awesome.
So far it's, there's 2 pain points but 2 wins. So we'll focus on the positive and work to improve on the eating habits and also the writing. But the writing is probably going to have to wait until a little bit after. I want to say like mid-August.
No.
Well, there's just a lot going on this week.
You got even just a few, even a little bit. Prioritize your goals, even if it's like a paragraph. It's better than nothing.
All right, we'll try. We'll work on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely something to improve on for next week.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. All right. So our next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing our tarot. And this is, I love this deck. This is a Wild Unknown collaboration. And I guess sister, made by the same author. It is the Wild Unknown Alchemy. I love this box. It's so pretty.
Look how gorgeous that blue is.
It is. And these are a really fun shape. They're hexagon.
They're fun shapes.
They're fun shape. So these cards. So with the alchemy, I think there's a good little description at the start of the book.
Yeah. I also want to mention that it's from Kim Krantz. So this is Allie's like favorite tarot author.
It really is. I've loved everything that she has created.
Yeah, she's honestly a phenomenal descriptor, but she's also really, really good at intuition. And then I don't know who did the art style.
She does it.
So she also does the art. So in this one, it's very similar to the animal deck where the animals or like the main elements on the page are black and white, but then everything around it is colored, which I think is like kind of her staple.
Yeah, it's her style.
Yeah. The origins of alchemy. I would love to see.
And not the Taylor Swift song, but we might have to put that.
Oh, I forgot that Taylor Swift did alchemy.
How would you forget? You look at her rock.
I do.
You're not a Swiftie.
I ain't a Swift.
I know.
No. The origin of alchemy. I'd like to suggest that alchemy originated with the presence of the first flame. Many origin stories around the world begins with the separation of light from dark. This is no coincidence. These myths and legends can also be thought as depicting the dawn of alchemy. With the first flame, spark and star, the pairs of opposites are born, as well as our desires to reconcile them. The mystery of duality perplexes the human mind, as does the powers of the elements. Thus, while entranced by the flicker of the candle's flame, the alchemist's inquiry begins, taking them on a journey to discovery. No matter what language, era, or dialect the question likely sounds like this. Each civilization across the globe prioritized a unique alchemic question of war pursuit. For some, it was gold. For others, the elixir of immortal life, or the fountain of youth. Alchemy took on many forms and expressions with musings and experiments that spanned all cultures and eras, all the while to make matters ever more complex. Alchemists encoded their findings. Alchemy and secrecy go hand in hand. In order to protect the revelations and disappointments within their laboratories, they used symbols and secret codes to shield their work from outside eyes. Thus, alchemy naturally took the universal language of metaphor. It does not reveal itself easily, no matter how our scholarly pursuit perceives it. That is precisely its aim. If we are humbled and confounded, alchemy is at work. If we have merged with the lineage of those who have studied before us. It is my aim with this deck to set aside the burden of understanding the history of alchemy and our place within it. Rather, like an alchemist, I want you to get your hands busy. Ooh, it's got dirty. To hold the cards and have experience of image, color, and imagination. Alchemy cannot be located, it must be experienced. Though medieval Europe is often thought of the peak of alchemy's pursuits, it neither originates nor ends there. It continues as our overbirds. It is deep within human experience of witnessing the wonders of the world. With humble hands I bow to those who have come before me, and to those who are yet to come. I bow to the first flame, and the force that ignited it. With the lighting of every candle, may the great story of alchemy continue to be revealed. All that she said there was alchemy derived from the question of what if, or what is. And she referenced the flame, so lighting a fire, that spark that initially starts the flame. How does it become to be, and how is it made? Which eventually turned into chemistry, biology, physics, and every science that we know to man. I mainly know everything about alchemy from Full Metal Alchemist, but that's neither here nor there.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's all right. We don't need to talk about it.
Okay.
All of my weeboos, they know.
But of course. So with the alchemy deck, it is broken down into specific things. So we have 4 colors, 4 seasons, 22 materials, 22 mysteries, and 8 operations. So for this deck, it's really a lot of science actually, which is really fun. I really like it about it. And it's talking about like what the 4 cosmos are, the 4 seasons, and how they reflect. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a little interesting just pulling one card. So I'm going to see how it feels, and we might need to pull up another card. So there's all kinds of different options. They're very beautiful hexagon. They're royal blue, and they're so fun. So the card that popped out was the Drowned King.
Ooh. The thing that I really like about this deck too is the fact that it uses the symbols that were used to hide alchemy to kind of reveal the message behind it.
So this is, once again, it's a hexagon. So you're not gonna like the image of this. I'm gonna tell you right now.
It's water, isn't it?
Yeah, pure water.
All right, that's fine.
So it's pure water, but it looks like, and then there's bubbles all around, starting at the top, which is very light blue, and then going down. At the bottom, you just see the hint of the jewels of the crown. So there's a little bit of gold to the left and to the right, and there's like a stone in the center, and in the bottom, it's quite dark. But the bubbles are actually gold.
Ooh. You know what that description just reminded me of? Is like that scene from Titanic where Rose drops the heart of the ocean into the water.
Yeah.
That's what that just sounded like to me, just hearing your description.
And so
The Drowned King, 187. Also known as Rex Marinus.
Yeah, I didn't have to say that. So that's like the Latin name, I do believe. They have a Latin name beside it.
It's either Latin or Greek. Ego collapse, losing face, and humility. In alchemy, the archetype of the king is often used as a symbol for the ego, the aspect of the self that is attached to its title, name, and identity. It is said that the drowned king is a required phase in the process of transformation. Only through dissolving who they thought they were is the king able to become who they are destined to be, a kind and benevolent leader. How does the drowning occur? Not voluntarily.
Not most drownings don't.
That's for certain. Through circumstances beyond the control of the king, they are brought to their bottom, to their knees. When this card appears, expect a huge blow to the ego, impactful enough that it causes one to turn their life around, prioritizing grace over greed, benevolence over brutality, sovereignty over selfishness. The drowned king eventually resurfaces as a fully changed, benevolent being.
Mermaid.
So it's kind of like the phoenix
Rise from the ashes.
rising
Yeah,
from the ashes.
I
Yeah,
can see that.
it's kind of like a motto that I always like to use is like we always have to start at ground zero in order to make a change. So it's not like people will always say that they're backtracking, they're always falling behind. No, you're starting from point zero and you're just moving forward. So it's not a matter of like falling behind or going back. It's a matter of recognizing that something needs to change and starting from that point.
Yeah.
of
That's
growth.
definitely what I see it as. I see it as like a turning point. And with it being like tomorrow's the first of the month, it's definitely like, and like I know for me, like this was the end of my season, and now it's like okay, revamp, go back and recalibrate type situation.
Kind of like wash away the month before, all of the things that you said didn't go as planned or something that you were like dwelling on, just wash it off.
Yeah,
And move forward. Yeah, I like that. And then similar to the animal deck where they talk about like how to put yourself back into balance when you're out of balance, this one actually talks about going deeper or something to ponder about. So the going deeper is to watch the movie The King 2018. So you're talking about reducing your screen time, but like TV and movies don't count. That's an option. Watching The King in 2018, or to ponder the power of benevolence. The drowned king prevents tyranny and redistributes power. We all must experience this energy from time to time to stay balanced. Wear it like a badge of honor. So rather than looking at
That's negative.
as a negative and seeing yourself in the light of failure, always look at it as a lesson and move forward with a high head and humbleness.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one says the element of water. There's a lot with alchemy, so there's a lot of things that tie into the main subject. So with the drowned king, of course, we have the aspect of the king wearing the crown. We also have the aspect of drowning, or a thing that is out of our control that is changing us, either whether we like it or not, it's happening. And then there's the actual aspect of water itself. So kind of similar to what Kim Kranz was saying when you were lighting the flame, she's looking at the spark before the flame. We're looking at water being the main mechanism for the dissolution of the ego. Although the king may kick and scream all the while, eventually their new mantra will be to go with the flow.
I'm terrible at going with the flow. Oh, wait.
letting go of the reins for anything. I feel like the emotions are so much more intense as an adult. But you kind of have to be like, I'm the adult in the situation, so I have to let go of this, let go of my ego, and just go with the flow.
All right, let's have a little water break.
Hope you guys had a great hydration break. We're going to keep this alchemy card in front of us, and hopefully the water will wash away all of our doubts.
You need to look at it. You need to look at
I
it.
don't like it, Allie. It makes my stomach hurt.
Oh,
I don't like it.
I don't like it. Oh man. What are we talking about?
Speaking of dinosaurs, we want to talk about beasts. We are going to get
Beast from the East was the last episode. Go check it out.
We're going to talk about the next beast that Allie tackled, and that was PEI Summer Showdown.
Yes.
So
This is fun.
we already got into the description of where it was, who sponsored it, but I want to know how many competitors were there and what events were involved.
Okay. So there was 22 athletes. There was 6 women between all 3 categories. There's 4 categories. We didn't have anyone in the open. So with the way the amateur league runs here in Canada, the Atlantics is coming up in about 6 weeks now. No, wait. It's August 25th. So 3 weeks from now is when Atlantics are. So we did ours, it was 5 weeks out. So a lot of the people who had already qualified to go to Atlantics did not come to this show, which is valid. Because, like, for one, like the girls, the raw girls in the open category, they just competed 2 weeks ago at the Strongest Woman in Canada, Beast from the East. Check the last episode. And so, like, it's totally understandable that they did not want to come over. And, like, they've done a lot of shows, like the raw girls. So there wasn't anyone in the open category this year, which isn't the end of the world. But there were 6 women. There was a team, which was really fun. And then we had a novice in the under 82, and then 2 in the over 82, which is the category I was in, and then there was 2 in the under 82 open category. Yeah, so it was a good turnout. Like I say, there was a lot of variety with people, which was a lot of fun. And so we got there bright and early. So the first event was a one that Andrew came up with as a strange form of torture. He was bored and he is no longer to be left alone with strongman equipment because he comes up with acidine shit like this. So it was a farmer's carry into a Husafeld carry back into the farmers. So you picked up the farmers, you walked 25 feet, you dropped the farmers, you picked up the Husafeld, and then you walked down, touched the line, walked back, dropped the Husafeld, and then you picked up the farmers and walked to the other end.
So that was like a total of 100 feet.
Yep.
In distance, and then
in a minute.
Yeah, that's also a very big point to mention, the fact of like how short of time you have to carry this. And then the farmer's carry, the actual equipment itself was roughly 130 pounds, and then the Husafeld was 175.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
and I had not lifted that before the competition.
And then after the farmer's carry to Husafeld, thank you so much for that, was the keg press, which is not a fun exercise to do because it's really, I find like
it's so awkward.
It's so awkward.
And it's because it's so wide too. Like the barrels, it's a normal size keg, so it's quite wide. And to roll it up your body, it throws your center of gravity off. It is a challenge.
I find the handles, like the fact that you have to like hold it from underneath, it's just a typical keg, and then you have that thin tiny handle for your top. And then you gotta just raw dog it from the bottom, and you gotta balance it, just like overhead.
Yeah, so it was a 5K. So it started at 70 pounds, 100, 125, 150.
Gross. And you're doing that within. Was there a time frame for
a minute?
Yeah.
All these events were within a minute.
Okay. And then like we can get into like more of the details, but I'm kind of curious of like how the keg press was set up. If it was kind of like a ladder, or if it was just like
it was a ladder, yeah. So it was all set up. It was set up beautifully actually. They had all the kegs up, and as soon as like the lighter weight went, they moved the mat to the farther one. So it was really quick, great setup for that
quick
one.
movements. Thank you, volunteers. Thank you, volunteers.
Yes, definitely.
Next was our favorite event. the car deadlift.
Yes. So no, that was really, really fun to do. So we did an ATV, and then we actually put some more weight on it. So it was roughly like with car deadlifts, it's out on an angle. It's really hard to get an accurate weight because it's one weight at the bottom, and then when you stand up, it's a different weight. So like it was around probably about 300 to 320 pounds in the hands, give or take. And you had to rep that out for a whole minute. And so that was really, really fun. And so we were able to do it facing each other. So the men were on one side and the women were on the other. So we were facing and we are just going right to town.
Nice. Yeah. It's always good to like, I call it squatters, but like it's always nice to have another squatter. Then you can kind of like know that you're not the only one struggling. You know, it's like, oh shit, this is heavy. And then you look at the guy next to you, like, okay, he's struggling too. Yeah, he's having some fun. And then next was the Rolling Thunder. I have no idea what that is.
So this was our mystery event. So the guys were really excited to just throw a mystery event in. It was something that they've talked about for about a year now, about just throwing something in, not telling the athletes what it was, and it was like a surprise, and you just had to kind of go with it. So this was a grip event. So basically it was probably about 3 inches wide, like the grip on it, and probably about 6 inches long. And so you were able to put the weight on the bottom, and you grabbed it here, and you picked it straight up. And it wasn't hard at all. It was more of a break exercise for the athlete, but it was very humbling. Yeah. Because I have bigger hands, and it was like it was a challenge to get through like 100 pounds.
Yeah. That's
and so when you pick it up, the cylinder would roll because you can't wrap your whole hand around it. So you pick it up and you would spin right out of your hands.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely nasty. And the thing is like with strongman, you got to have some good grip. Yeah. That's like a highlight, but it's so hard to like train. I don't know how to explain it.
It takes a lot of work to train. But I wouldn't say it's hard to train because it's one of those things that you can train every single day and you won't fatigue. Yeah. But when it's gone, it's gone. So I would say it's more of a challenge to build it up than to than actually lose it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because like that would be something that would be really interesting to talk about, like actual grip training itself. Yeah, that would be a really interesting topic.
Yeah, it is. So with that one, for the women, it started at 70 pounds and went up by 10, and then at the 100, it went up by 5.
Yeah, so that's kind of nice that they lightened it up after 100, because like if you struggle with 70, I can only imagine. Mm-hmm. And then last but certainly not least, our favorite event.
Fucking sandbags.
Fucking sandbags. This one's over a goddamn bar, folks.
Over a yoke.
It's gross.
It's just annoying. I'm so tired of sandbags. So with now being done the competition, we kind of are picking, for training wise, we're picking 2 activities to do. And then we're focusing on those for a month, and then we'll switch up. And I'm like, fuck sandbags. We're not doing sandbags for the month of August. That's because I know I need to work on it, but I'm like, that is a September problem. I need a break from them. Yeah. They've been everything.
She's got to be in the corner. That's it. She's not coming back out of the corner. Like she's there until September. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So the sandbags started at 125, then they went up to 150, and then they went up to 175. And no one went up higher than 175, or was that just for women's?
Oh, this was just my weight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, definitely PRs, 100%. But I don't think there was any records.
I count like personal records as records, but that's just me. I know like the strongman community does not agree, but if you
no, a personal record is a great achievement and something you should be striving for, but like
it's just not something to be like documented.
Well, no, you should be highlighting them, but just there's a difference between a PR and a record, though, because a record is something that's universal and something everyone else is chasing after, whereas a PR, which is a personal record, is just your best at that day. So both are important and amazing, but they're just different. Yeah. Because everyone else is like, oh, what's like as an example, this past weekend, Sam and Maxine both broke the log record in Canada. Yeah. They were the only people in Canada to break that record. So no one else has done that, where a PR is other people have already lifted that weight. Yeah. You might not have, but everybody else has.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, that's definitely...
Oh, yeah. It's still amazing.
Let's talk about your farmer's carry into the Husa Belts, because...
So this one, like I say, this was a challenge. And I was not like the farmers is actually quite light.
Yeah.
Like that was not a concern. I didn't even really, except for we had new farmers, so I did have to. They're beautiful, so I had to learn how to walk with them just because they felt so different. So the first time I did, I was very much like I call it seesawing. I was going up and down, so I did practice just with it empty, just working on bracing my back.
Yeah.
And I was able to go quite comfortably with that. So the Husafeld is a horrible, horrible implement. It is a triangular diamond shaped metal shield. So you have to pick it up with your forearms and you walk with it. So the goal for this was just to finish. I did not finish, but that's okay. Like I said, I had never lifted the 175. So and that was part of maybe a mistake on my part. So what had happened was I was training for the strongest woman in Canada qualifier, and then I kind of forgot about it. The Husafeld. So in training, I had got up to 155 for 2 runs quite comfortably, but I never got a chance to go back and get higher than that.
Yeah.
And so maybe hindsight probably should have lifted it. So what I had done with the other one is I had practiced like picking up and shifting it up and then catching it lower.
Yeah.
So I can't see shit, but it's a lot easier to carry.
Yeah.
So I did try and pick it up and I wasn't able to do that shimmy and catch it. So I was just like, okay, so we're on like the highest points. So I'm just picking up and I walk it. And one of the things, when you drop the Husafeld, you're done.
Yeah.
Because well, you're not done, but it's so hard to pick it back up and to go.
It takes a lot of energy.
It does. It's not an easy implement at all. So I got about halfway and like I was like, okay, nope, we're good. So I was very much just happy to lift it, to be honest, because I hadn't lifted it.
It's an accomplishment. It's a PR.
And it was really like I was slightly bummed that I didn't get at least 1 rank, but then I really thought about it like in a year and a half, the first time I did it, I did 130, and that was a struggle. And so now I'm picking up 175 and like getting at least halfway. That's pretty awesome.
That's a win, honestly. But good for you for getting 175 up. Like.
So the next event was one of my favorite ones because I do like a good pressing event. So this is the keg press. It was a hard one. It was not easy.
You have your chalk.
You don't have chalk for this.
You don't have chalk?
Well, you don't really for this one. I had the chalk. I was covered in chalk for the one ahead of time.
Yeah.
Farmers.
So you had pre-chalk. That's all.
Yeah. So for this one, it was the keg. So mine started at 70, 100, 125, 150. So I felt very confident with this one. I had been able to get the 125 multiple times. So the 100 or the 70 flew right up. 100 flew right up. 125. She made me work for it. She made me work for it. So I got it here. I got it to my chest. And then I dipped down and I kind of slipped and wasn't able to. And then I dipped down and I pushed it up again. But I was wearing a hat. And my hat kept on hitting the thing. So I did a classic head flip, caught my hat off, and then I was able to get it into the correct position where it's kind of sitting up higher, my elbows up, and like I guess it's more like this. Yeah. And then I was able to straighten one arm and straighten the other.
Nice.
Yeah.
One at a time.
Yeah.
And did you get to the 150?
No. I spent like 20 seconds on that, like holding that 125 on my chest. I was not even going to try.
I can only imagine.
And my goal was 125. Because like I knew the girl I was competing against, she had almost gotten the 100, so I was like, I think she can get the 100 on the day.
Yeah.
Like I know I need to push myself to the 120. So the 150 was not even on the plan.
It wasn't on the radar.
Nope.
125. Did you train with the 125K? Like, did you know that you could lift it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I had known I had lifted it, but I hadn't really practiced the 125 for a while. And we used a different technique where it was like you put it on your hip and you punch it up. So this hand's already straight, and then this one's here.
You're doing a wahoo movement.
Sure.
Wahoo!
Yeah.
Mario.
Yes, very much so.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, like.
But that's not how I actually did it, though.
Oh.
So I feel like the way I did it in the competition for the first 2, I did it that way. But for the heavier one, I hadn't quite figured out that technique yet. Like, it's a newer technique for me. So I did the classic, roll it up my chest. And then push.
Nice. Yeah. Shit.
Yeah. So no, I was very happy with that event. Yeah. So that was really awesome. And there's actually a really cool video. I don't think I sent it to you, but there is a video that the Guardian put out. And apparently it was in the paper, but I didn't get a chance to go find it.
I haven't seen that yet.
I haven't seen it either yet. So, but apparently Allison's mom said I was in the paper. I'm famous.
You're local famous now. You're a strong woman.
I am.
You're coming in for Nikki's fucking title.
Oh, fuck that. No way. I am nowhere near.
But you take
It is
pictures
my
every day.
favorite.
Oh,
It
okay.
is my favorite. I really it's a height that works really well for me. I can get into a really good rhythm, and I'm very strong in this event. So I felt very comfortable with this. I was very excited for this. So the girl went ahead of me, and she got 11 reps. And so then I was going, and I had to do 12. And so with this, and like I had learned from the Swift that I had pushed myself too much on the deadlift. So I was like, I'm just doing one more than what I need to. So I was like, okay, I need to do 12. Perfect. So I did the first one. I got into a great rhythm, and I bammed them out in like 30 seconds.
Dang.
Yeah.
Half the time.
Yeah.
Because you get a minute for each
Yep.
event. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I belted them. I definitely had a lot more in the tank. Like I was flying through those. But I was like, I learned I didn't want to push myself. This is the middle of the event. It is a hot day.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's not smart to go and be like, I could
balls to the wall.
walls. Like I definitely could have probably gotten like 15, maybe 20. It depend. Like if I was in a really great rhythm, but I was like, it is not the right place or time to do that.
Because like you got to consider this is for reps.
Yeah.
So like if other competitors, let's say they did 12, then you know like, okay, well I can do 13, 14.
Yeah.
I know that no one's going to beat me after that.
Yeah, like that was exactly
so
it.
It's strategic.
Yeah, it was very much a strategic play.
And then and then of course like deadlifts are one of your best.
And this particular, like say, I'm more of a car deadlift, axle deadlift compared to a traditional deadlift.
Yeah.
So these definitely work really well. That's slightly elevated.
Lightweight. And then next was your favorite event, the rolling thunder.
Oh yeah, so fun. So this one, hindsight, I should have done a little bit more actually. So I did up to 90, and I was very comfortable with that. And then I kind of wish, like, I was kind of in the moment. I'm like, okay, I did it. I don't need to go any heavier. Why go heavier? But I kind of wish I pushed myself, because I do think I probably could have beat all the women if I had tried.
Oh.
And I didn't think of it until afterwards.
You got more.
Oh yeah, I had way more.
Yeah.
Because like in training, I had done 110.
Oh. Okay.
And I feel like the winning for the women's was 100 or 105.
Just a little bit more.
But like, right, not a big deal. But it was hindsight afterwards, right?
Yeah.
I still won the event, so it's
this
not
is
a big
also
deal.
like a surprise event as well, so you didn't really know what to expect.
So
it was just kind of thrown on.
Yes and no. Like they did let us know once everyone had registered, so we weren't. We knew about it after for 3 weeks.
Oh, okay, that's nice then.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was like a surprise until the day of.
Some do that, but
Yeah.
that would have been an easy surprise.
Okay.
Like I remember there was like a strongman thing where they did arm over arm as a surprise. And like that was a nice little break for the athletes. It wasn't the most entertaining to watch, I must say, but it was really nice for a break for the athletes to like you're not using that much energy, and that way you can get some water, get some shade, take a little rest instead of going 5 bang and crazy hard events. And so I do believe the heaviest that was lifted was 175.
Nice.
Yeah. By George.
Old man strength.
It was 100% old. But
I'm telling you.
yes and no. So there was some old man strength, but then one of the competitors in the open class, he wanted to keep going because he really wanted to have the best strength. And then next thing you know, he goes over and just picks up the 175. Like they had said he was done because he had beaten his category.
He was just playing.
But he wanted it. So it was one of he just went over and picked it up, and we were like,
sorry.
Yeah.
The bell's done.
Yeah, sorry about your luck.
Blue.
Yeah, basically.
Damn.
I know, I feel bad for him.
I bet he was salty over
Oh, he was, and I don't blame him. Like, but this was like one of his first ones. He didn't quite understand.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I felt bad for him.
Glad that you got it, buddy. But it just doesn't count.
Yeah, like the ref was like, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
And so he was, and that's understandable. Not thinking that you're doing something that counts and it doesn't.
Absolutely.
Like he still won the event.
Yeah. But it's still like a hit to the ego, kind of tying back in.
Yeah, because you wanted to have the heaviest lift, and so this old guy, George, we love George. He's in the Masters.
George is a sweetheart.
Yeah. He's the one who got it. Yes.
And then heading into our final run, the sandbags, your best friend. Over the yoke, your other bestie.
I love the yoke, actually.
I mean, you have an advantage because you are a little bit taller.
Yeah.
So like the short stacks like myself, we're shit out of fucking like it's more work to try to get that fucking thing over than it is to lift it up. So talk to me a little bit like that. You did 125 first.
Yes.
And then you went up to 175.
Yeah, so for this event, and I wanted to have a bit of redemption for the 150 sandbag that I did not get at Swig. So that's what I want. I'm like, I just need to get that 150. That was the goal. So I got the 125. I had gotten the 50. It was a bit of a slow go, but I got it. I picked it up the one time and I got it and put it over. And so with this event, it was the 3 ones, and the last bag was going for time. So say me and the other competitor just got the 150, then we would tie.
Yeah.
Unless I moved the 175. So I wasn't able to, neither one of us were able to pick up the 175. Like, it was pure dead weight at the end of the long day. We were not moving it. I wish I was able to pick it up, just throw it at that inch, but I wasn't able to. But my redemption really was getting that 150 that I had missed the 2 weeks beforehand. So I was like, I was going hell or high water. I was getting that. So I'm very proud of myself for finally getting that 150 over the yoke.
The redemption.
I
gotta ask you a question now.
Yeah.
Because the Husafell is not, it's awkward to carry, but it's not too different from the sandbag weight wise. So I'm wondering, what would you prefer to carry? The Husafell or a sandbag?
Husafell.
Yeah.
It would depend on the weight.
Both 175.
175. Well, I could pick up the Husafell, but I couldn't pick up the sandbag.
Yeah.
Sandbag's a bitch. It moves too much. It's in there so wide. No. So no, I was able, like say in this particular case, I was able to pick up the 175 Husafell, but not the 175 sandbag.
Yeah.
And I tried, but it was not coming up. It was dead. It was dead to that ground. I think they glued it and didn't tell us.
They super glued it just to piss you off. But I mean, like, congratulations on the 150.
Yeah.
Because I still remember a time where the 150 was causing you trouble.
This has been the season of 150.
Yeah.
So, like, going into New Brunswick Strongest, it was the 150 to shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Going into the Swick, it was the 150 over the thing. And then 150 again. So it's been the year that I'm getting. So, like, say, the first time I really got it was in April.
Yeah.
So, like, and now here I am running, walking, moving it to the other side. It was a bit of a waddle at times.
Shuffling.
Not some shuffles, but definitely a little bit of a waddle, that's for sure. Holding up.
Oh my god.
Try and breathe.
You can't. No, you just can't.
But they're literally yelling at you, breathe!
Like, oh. I feel like that's kind of motivation in itself. When you hear people saying it's the obvious thing to do, but
you need that. I am 100% one of those people who holds my breath when I'm doing it, and it's terrible because then you like pass out.
You're killing your battery.
You're killing your brain.
Yeah.
You're gonna pass out. So like literally, I had Sam beside me who was one of the judges. She was just like, breathe. Try. And then she was like beside me. It's like, just move it an inch. You just gotta pick it up and move it a little bit. The 175. But I was like. But like say it was the 150 was the goal of the day because I hadn't gotten it 2 weeks before.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
And that leads me into we said that we got that leads me into like your standings for each event. So we know that you got first in the car deadlift.
Mm-hmm.
You got first in the keg press.
Yeah.
And you got first in the sandbags.
I tied in the sandbags. Rolling Thunder, I got first.
First in Rolling Thunders. And then I can't remember what you got in the Farmer's Carry. Was it second?
Second, yeah.
Yeah. So second, first, tie.
Yeah.
Who tied with you in sandbags?
Christine.
It's always the training buddy.
Right? And it's one, and like I say, I was very proud of her for getting that 150. That was a big PR for her as well. And that's something we both worked a lot on.
Well, she's a shorty like me.
Yeah,
so it's not easy, man. Like, I'm sorry, like, nothing against you, but I'm voting for Christine. These shorties got to stand together. Like, it's not easy, man. It's like trying to reach to the top shelf and put something in there.
And that's kind of how she felt because we were talking about it. We went for some drinks afterwards, and she was saying, she's like, when I dropped that piece belt, she's like, I'm not gonna be able to get that. But she did. She did great. She did a whole life.
God bless her.
Yeah, I was very proud of her.
God bless her. Because I know that, like, when it comes to height, it definitely has an impact on how you accomplish those events.
Yeah.
You don't think it makes much of a difference because, like, shorter people are closer to the ground, so it'd be easier for them. No, it's harder. I don't care who the fuck you are. It's difficult.
I feel like you're projecting some other emotions too.
Don't call me short.
That's because you're the petite pants now.
All right, so we got second, first, and tied with Christine. So, how did you land in the events?
Well, let's just take a little gold medal. Ooh, let's go the right direction.
Look at that beauty.
Yeah, so it's a really nice big first place, and it has the Summer Showdown on the crest.
Just going up to the camera to show. Look at how shiny that is.
Go, bitches!
That's what it
It's
is.
home turf.
It's the home turf. It's the red sands.
It's the red sand. It's the potatoes.
Yeah. It's 100% the starch.
The stars.
That's
The
what's
sea
keeping-
ocean. Like we had a sea breeze, and it was really fun. Like say we had a lot of people just kind of stumble upon us. Like I want to go back to the venue
Yeah.
because it was such a great view. Like it's right beside Peaks Key, which is like the tourist spot, right down by the water. Cow's ice cream, and like we
Cruise
had
ships coming in.
cruise ships. It was such a phenomenal place. Like I will argue that it can't be anywhere else at this point.
Yeah.
And so then like you're walking to the bathrooms and people are asking you how you're doing and saying congratulations. And then we went up to Peaks afterwards, who was another sponsor who very graciously gave us all gift cards to. So we went up and had a little drink to celebrate, and there was some ladies who were commenting saying they were watching from up on the balcony.
Yeah.
And we had a wonderful, good crowd.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
How did that impact you as a person? Did you enjoy it more having more people watching?
It was fun. Like you definitely. You heard the crowd a bit more. You had some people, like a couple of the kids who I know just stumbled upon me, which was kind of fun. And they're like, "Whoa, look at you!" And so it was really neat. And just kind of just running into people and people asking questions. It seemed to bring a lot more people to it, and whereas our last location, which was a great location, but it wasn't where people are just walking around and stumble upon it.
It was on two busy streets, so like people were just preoccupied with getting to their location.
Where this is, people are mosey, and people are just like they're out sauntering.
They're Sunday walkers.
They're Sunday chilling. It's right by Founders Hall, which is another really fun restaurant. Like there was a horse and buggy. Like it was really the tourist spot, and we got the crowds. And like say when we were doing the keg press, they were on facing us before, and then that's when we realized, oh, there's a crowd behind us, a cruise ship here, and there's cheering. So we moved us to the other side. So that's when they were like, oh, okay, we're getting some traction here.
I'm really glad that they had it at the landing too, for that reason, but also the fact that there's more space there and it's more open. So like,
and it was grass,
it's greener. There's a lot of traffic, but there's not a lot of road traffic.
Yes.
So people
walking.
People traveling, yeah. So like if you're trying to make a recording of this, I remember last time we went to the Summertime Showdown in Charlottetown, it was at that other location, and it was so hard to get audio because the amount of traffic that was coming behind us.
Yes.
You just couldn't hear the crowd. But here, it's kind of like its own stadium.
It really was. Yep.
So it's just like phenomenal in that perspective, and then it's great to see that people are gaining awareness for strongman. So this might have been their first exposure to it, and let me tell you, that first exposure is like its own high.
Like watch it. Like we had a lot of people with the kegs and a lot of people with the deadlift that were very impressed, and that was really fun.
Crazy. Yeah, I'm proud of you.
Thanks. I'm very proud of myself too.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing that. That was a wild experience.
It was so much fun. Like I had an absolute blast. And like say, I've been to now 3 of the Island Strength and Power. No, 4.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's 4.
4 of their shows, and they always put on a really great show.
Yeah, they're really, really good at organizing it. They're really good at communicating, building up volunteers, making sure that everybody is comfortable and safe in that location. And also, I think that they're like, if there's somebody who has, like, referring back to the old man grip situation, if somebody's having a rough time with admitting or accepting that something didn't go their way, like they didn't reach that bar that they were trying to accomplish, I find that they're really good at explaining and elaborating as to why they never achieved it and making them feel comfortable enough to be like, you know what, you're right, I'll try harder next time. and just move on from it rather
Yeah.
than having a negative experience.
Oh
They
yes.
really know how to balance that back.
And like, I do want to give a little shout out to Dave, who was on the MC. He talked through the entire thing, and with MCing is hard.
Mhm.
And so, like, especially like with the Rolling Thunder, that's a little bit of a boring one. And he was talking, being like, "Oh, look, there we go," and talking about like same with talking about to the crowd about what was going on, making sure that he was got
Really
the
good at
weights
explaining.
right
Yeah.
and explaining what was happening, and he did a great job engaging with the crowd as
He's
well.
got a really good auctioneer voice. So he's
Yeah.
really good at describing. He's really good at that hype. He's got a really good volume. And then he kind of brings me back to like all of the strongman competitions that you do for like the World Strongest Man, where it's like, oh, he's really good at like rolling his voice. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So I think they picked a really good person for that.
Yeah.
And then there was some really good footage as well. Like before, it would only be just personal people taking videos of the person that they're like supporting. But I found this one had like a really wide scope of
Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure who the gentleman was, and I asked the guys. He was just someone who kind of came around. I don't know if he knew someone who was competing, and he took some pictures and sent them to the guys, which was really awesome.
really nice.
We got the Guardian out there. Like I say, I still have yet to see the picture I was in. I need to find that.
We're gonna look that up after this.
Yeah, and then we did the video, so there was a lot of promotional about it too, which was awesome.
Really, really nice. As I was waiting, because I was a part of the Pride Parade, so I couldn't go because it was the same
time.
It was so bad because I was like, maybe I can go a little bit early, but then like yours was a little bit later, so I was like, oh. So as we were waiting to start the parade, because it didn't technically start until 12, but we had to be there for 9. Gross. But anyways, I was like flipping through the I'm Strength and Power story, your story, Christine's story, Nikki's story, just to see like if any updates have gone, you know. So that was really awesome.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to like you with your charts. It's like that kind of feeling of going to
My
social
spreadsheets?
media.
Yeah.
Looking at the spreadsheets, but just like trying to see if anyone took any videos.
I need something.
I need to see how she's doing. And then I couldn't even like respond in the group chat because as your events were happening, I was going for my walk and I was required to take videos. So I was just like seeing the group messages and I was just like, great. And I was just like mentally sending out positive vibes to you, but couldn't respond.
Yeah.
It was so crazy because our coworker, she was there with her kids, and I hollered out to her and her little ones that were on the sidelines. And then I had seen that you went and did like you got first place in the car deadlift, and I was like, "That's my girl!" Just like out of the blue, and everyone was like, and it was just like, y'all don't know what I'm screaming for, but yeah, happy Pride, folks.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take a little hydration break, and then we're gonna look at the bottom of our deck and maybe see if there's a tie, maybe a separation, maybe a message for another day.
Message for another day. All right, so we had the last tarot.
We're back, and we're happy.
We hydrated. So the bottom of the deck is sugar.
Ooh.
Oh, wrong book. Try this one.
Yeah, I think this one's actually
That might help you a bit. So this is actually a really interesting image. So the background is black and the center is very crystal-like. So it has a gold with like splashes and stars. And in the center, it's kind of like I want to say blue with a swoosh of red. And there's like stars all around. And then there's to the side, there's red squiggles and there's other shapes on the other. It's a very interesting shape.
I mean, it's a really hard card to describe.
Yeah.
I think you did a good job there. To me, it kind of looks like the Milky Way.
Oh,
If it was just like in its
It
end
can-
stage.
yeah. It's not expanded enough to be the Milky Way, in my opinion.
No, it's like there's a black hole in the middle, and then there's a ring of stars around it, and then of course, like there's prismatic kind of effects, like Ali was talking about the red streaks. There's yellows and blues attached to me that kind of looks like when you put a prism into the light and it kind of like reflects that rainbow.
Mhm, yeah.
That's what that looks like to me. It's like that this is reflecting.
Yeah.
So we never really did a personal.
You were too scared.
I was. I still don't want to look at it. to me, this is danger, danger, danger. And of course, like it's called the Drowned King. It's my fear of getting drowned. So like to me, this entire card represents be afraid, but like you'll come out different after it's happened.
Yeah.
This one, there's I can't not see that black hole. So black holes scientifically are known to stretch out. I don't really know how to describe it because right now I'm like burning out.
We don't need to describe black holes on this podcast. Sorry.
Yeah, you can look up a fucking chemistry book. Figure it out yourself. We're not going to tell you all the answers, God.
Gotta do your own research.
You gotta do your own work. But yeah, so to me, like this black hole, it's supposed to suck everything out, but then there's like this ring of energy and power that is stronger than the black hole. So to me, this is kind of like reflecting on this, where this is telling us like you're going to experience something painful. It's going to be a transformation experience. Like you just have to deal with the pain first before the good comes out. This one is like talking about the power that you have to put in to survive. So the Drowned King, he's losing his breath, he's kicking, he's screaming, no one's answering, and he's just going to have to accept the fact that he is where he is and go with the flow. This is showing the strength of letting go and recovering.
See, I do agree with that, but what I see in this card, I see more fuel. Like, and I think of it like knowing what sugar is. I see this as sugar is sweet, it's energy,
yeah.
And it's very much like I don't see this as a black hole, as more of a whirlpool.
Oh, okay.
More of a whirlpool, very similar imagery, but it's like you with whirlpool. It's very much in like
it's centered,
and the bottom is clear, and you're looking down. It looks like chaos, but at the bottom there's a point. There's something to work towards. There's a goal, and the stuff on the outside, which is very sparkly and pretty. I just love it.
Dust.
But to me, it's the fuel that gets you to the bottom.
Okay.
Why I say.
Looking at it from your perspective, I would look at that being like, it's just dust. It's just things that I can't control. I just need to focus on one thing.
It's too pretty. I want to focus on
Those
it.
are distractions, babe.
Yeah, that's true.
This is your goal. You're trying to get to there. All these little pretty things on the back side and around, it's just to distract you from what is in the center, which is where you want to be.
That's a really great point. I like that.
I love that.
What's the book tell us?
I keep thinking, like, it's so relevant now. It's trending. It's probably not going to be trending when this episode comes out, but like the tornado movie.
Twister.
You're talking about, Twisters. When you were talking about like the whirlpool, that's all that was blowing in my mind. So this is called saccharum, which is I don't know if it's Latin or Greek or anyways.
Different language.
It is a scientific term for sugar. It is sacred sweetness, pleasure, and attraction. So kind of like tying into what you're saying with the whirlpool being on the bottom. The sugar dances on your tongue. No matter how intellectual and scholarly our pursuits are, sugar reminds us of our longing for simple pleasures. Until the 12th century, our need for sweetness, it is, after all, one of the 5 essential tastes, was fulfilled by raw honey offered by the bees. This material had medicinal properties and is known in alchemy as a sacred elixir. Ooh, interesting. Now, most of our sources of sweetness, both literally and metaphorically, are highly processed, defined for us by a culture of consumption. This card is to call to your exploring side and exploring the simple sweetness in the experiment. How about joy, or even laughter? It's likely the pleasure that you crave will not be found from manufactured means, but from the childlike wonder residing in the heart, remembering the alchemical wisdom of like attracts like.
So catch more bees with honey than you do with vinegar.
Yeah. I like the fact that it mentions like the fact that I'll just read this again. It is likely the pleasure you crave will not be found from manufactured means, but from the childlike wonder residing in the heart. The center of this is the heart. So all of this is just like all the manufactured means, all of the things that are built around you, modernization, your job, your social life, your relationships, but the middle is where your heart is.
Yeah.
I think that's a really cute little depiction. And then going in deeper, you listen to Nina Simone performing the song "A Little Sugar in My Bowl." I think I know that one too. I think it's a country singer. I could be wrong. I'll listen to it, and then maybe I can if we don't get copyright infringement, maybe I'll put it in one of our reels just so other people can listen, because it is a cute little song. It's kind of like "Spoonful of Sugar" from Mary Poppins.
Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, medicine go down, medicine go down. We are singing a lot in this episode.
Yeah.
It's because we started with a little dance party.
No copy.
That too.
It is because we started.
And it's also I'm hitting my second wind. I'm ready.
Yeah. And then for pondering, we have to ponder the power of attraction and evasion. Then going into the actual aspects of sugar, the chemical balance of sugar, we go into the pleasure of healing in and of itself. What is the simplest, most feasible means of joy you can participate in today? It does not have to be big and boisterous. Joy is everywhere. Just a little moment of cheer.
Yeah,
And that's
find the joy throughout the day.
Yeah, you're my joy today.
Aww.
Honestly, the highlight of my day is just doing this podcast.
It's
hanging
so
out
fun.
with you. It is, and then of course, we're singing, having a good time.
Oh yeah, we're being so silly this one. I
I'm
love it.
so excited for you to edit this episode.
It's gonna be fun.
It's a long one, but we're gonna get some reels out of it.
Yeah, with the first event, we're at 20 minutes. Okay, I love our chats, but I gotta let's wrap this up a little bit.
You gotta keep it moving. And then when the actual physical properties of sugar, one of sugar's physical attributes is stickiness.
Mm-hmm.
See how the concept affects the cards within the reading and the personalities involved. Attachment is rarely served. So that's another thing too. Looking at this through a psychological perspective, looking at it through a mental health development, we learned that negative thoughts stick harder and longer in the brain than joy. So I really enjoy kind of the oxymoron of sugar being sticky and bringing positivity versus negativity being the one that sticks to our minds.
Yes.
So it's kind of this card is kind of alluding to the fact that you just have to accept the little joys and make them worth what they are.
Exactly.
And you
Some
know,
little things.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Believe it or not, I don't know if you know this, but guns and gunpowder. Well, gunpowder specifically was made out of molasses.
I would not have.
Cool. Look it up.
I believe you. I don't need to.
I'm telling them.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I know this was a really fun one, doing the recap for the Summer Showdown, showing up the hardware.
All the hard work
All
paid
the-
off.
yeah.
And you know what? The fact that the qualifiers didn't go the way that you planned, I think this was just in the cards for you. This was your Drowned King. The qualifiers were your Drowned King. And this is your sugar.
Yeah, absolutely.
150 sandbag.
That 150.
We got beef with you.
Yeah, we do. We do. All right. So, where are we able to find us?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked because, Allie, we are on YouTube at the moment. We are called Strong Girl Shuffle Podcast. You'll look it up as is. You will find us. We have 16 episodes as of right now, and it's only just going to get more. And then, of course, if you don't really want to watch the whole video, you want to listen to it, we're going to be on Spotify, but you want to watch the good parts, the little clippies, get a little insight, and maybe even get a little checkout of our tarot cards themselves, you can find us on SGShuffle Podcast on Instagram and TikTok, where all of our fun little pieces come together.
Yes.
And we also have some personal accounts.
So if you'd like to follow me and see some videos of what I've been doing with the strongman, you can follow me at Allie_strongwoman. And yourself?
If you want to look at my more creative mind and a little bit more tarot reading, palm readings, and aura analysis, I haven't been doing a whole lot of those lately, but it's going to be coming back in the fall. You can find me at Pandora_readings on Instagram.
Beautiful.
I was thinking that there was another place, but that's it.
Just the one.
I got too much on my plate already. We can't have other platforms.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave us a comment, like the episode, subscribe, all the things, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Like this episode, or we're going to throw the 150 sandbag in your way. The 150-pound sandbag is sitting on your like button right now. You have to lift it to like it. Lift to like. Oh, that's going to be.
Oh, we're branding that shit.
We're marketing. We're already planning it out. All right, folks. Thank you for watching. I know this has been a little bit of a crazy episode, but that is just the way it is. And that's just the fun. Sometimes you got to be a little bit crazy to shuffle it in.
All right. Well, you have a great night, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.